let's go have fun. But the D is the leader. So we're going to have fun, but we're going to have it my way. However, when are we going to go? Well, you know what? I do last minute things at times. She has to know 2 weeks prior too.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't until I was about ready to kill her.
Yes, yes.
You know, I'm thinking, why does she need to know right now? Doesn't she know my schedule and what I do?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it wasn't until I got a hold of this that instead of damaging the heart of my child,
Right.
I had to learn to change my style and how to communicate with her versus my high son, who is just the life of the party and, you know, doesn't know what's going on here and there.
It doesn't really care.
It doesn't really care, but, you know, at the same time has to put things into gear. He knows how to. So taking those strengths and not seeing them as weaknesses and learning how to empower your children and communicate with them.
Say that again.
How to empower your children and communicate with them.
Those two things are probably
vital.
the foundation of that every mother should impart to their child.
Well, and also, as you're listening, that is the heart of every relationship,
It really is.
including your husband's. You know, read 5 love languages.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Gary Chapman.
You know your husband's personality. Don't expect him to, you know, if you need to say, I love you, and he doesn't understand, he may touches his high thing.
Right.
So I put that little tidbit in there, little teaser. You get the book. But that was a life changer for us. And you have to invest into yourself and into your family.
Very good. That's very good advice. How about you, Tambo?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
If you were giving a piece of advice, your most poignant piece of advice that you have learned so far in raising your family to a young family just starting out, what would it be?
Go with your gut instinct. Because, like Danielle, when my children were young, I thought I had to follow these books. And with my firstborn, I was very, you know, straight. Gotta let them cry. And it was like with my second one, I knew that just wasn't the way, and I listened to my heart a lot more, and I think it paid off more. I mean, my son's wonderful, but I just think, yeah, you know, Warren, he's awesome, but it just. I think we need to relax as parents. Stop listening to so many things. Take what works for you and leave the rest alone because you're going to get so much advice your whole life. And you've got to listen to your heart, your instincts.
So true. It is so true.
It really is.
So true.
That's very good advice.
Thank you.
And how about you, Juliana?
I believe in what Tammy has said is pretty much the best advice for everything. You know, just go with your gut instinct, and that is the way everything should be, you know. So if you have a problem child, there's usually a problem, you know, that's causing it. So just relax about it, and you can probably figure out what's going on.
Right. How about you, Misty?
Keeping in theme with all of the advice that's already been said, because it just could not ring more true and more times that we've seen that in raising our children. I think the biggest piece of advice that I would have is do not ever be afraid to be yourself, because if it's not part of who you are and what you can believe in, then you will not be consistent, and it is not something that you will be able to carry out for your children. I was raised with a very strong hand, a very strong discipline, as I'm sure many of us were at that time, and I tried that with my kids, but I was so inconsistent with it because it's not what I believe in.
That's right.
It didn't ring true to you.
I can't teach my children not to be violent toward one another by being violent to them.
Exactly.
To me, that just it was maddening.
Yeah.
and they know it. They know
They
it.
do.
When when you spank them one time and you don't. Anyway, just do not be afraid to be yourself and believe in yourself.
Very good.
Oh, that's such good advice.
And I wholeheartedly agree, of course, with all you divas. But one thing that I learned, and my children are so absolutely different from each other, and so you have to realize their person. You have to take the time to know them as the little people that they are.
Itty bitties.
My Errol, my oldest one, was such a perfectionist. He would not say a word unless he could say it properly. He never said baba or mama. It was mom and bottle.
Wow.
And
That sounds like Warren.
And one day he came, I told you this story. One day he came to me and said, I must call you mother now.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Whatever. And he called me mother for 2 years. He still every now and then will say mother. It's very interesting. He was very interesting, and everything had to be ever so perfect. Did you ever see a child of 3 and 4 years old whose shirt would stay tucked in? That was Errol. It was weird. But he was always Mr. Perfect. Now Mikey, he could care less. I always used to let them dress themselves very young. I let them do that because that was like one of the first decisions that they had to make. And Mike came out of the bedroom once, and Errol, they're 6 years apart. And Errol and I went, whoa. He had on 2 different plaids. It was a little scary. He was going to preschool, too, you know. We didn't want kids to make fun of him. And I said, Mikey, those don't match. And he said, Mom, and he put his 2 little fingers together, and he goes, yes, it does. Blue to blue, green to green. And he picked out all the colors in those 2 plaids. Well, how do you argue with that? All right, then. And he is a free spirit. Both of they're so different. And Errol was an art major, and Mikey is a chef.
Amazing.
So they're both very unique guys, and both of their girlfriends have thanked me that they know how to cook, they know how to take care of themselves.
That's awesome.
They do their own laundry, oftentimes the girlfriends as well. And they did the things that they wanted to do and that mattered to them.
Right.
And that's what you have to do, and that's a hard thing to learn. What about you, Diana? How many children do you have?
I have 3 girls, 10, 11, and 12.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow.
But the one thing I was thinking as I was sitting over to the side is that, and it's something I work hard on every day more as a mother. Don't compare
That's a good one.
yourself to others, because I homeschool, and all 3 of my girls have different learning disabilities, and it's so hard to not compare to other kids their age and where they should be. But they're so smart and they're making so much progress that I always have to remind myself, don't compare.
That's off to you, girl.
That's
That's
very
awesome.
good.
They're on their own path. I remember one time
3 girls.
Yeah, and they're amazing girls.
And you're an amazing mom.
Yes,
for
We're having a
doing it.
lot of hormonal issues.
I was
these
thinking to
past
myself,
months.
good luck in the next
Yes.
2 years.
Oh,
Holy
well, I
crap.
have 2 of them that
It's an
have
estrogen
kind
volcano.
of started that, and it's like
Oh,
all 3 of us at the same time, and my husband
And
comes
then
in, and
it's
we're,
going to be 4. Oh,
we're
my
all
goodness.
crying, and he's like, okay, I really have to work late. I'm going back to work.
Just tell him to bring a lot of chocolate home.
In heart-shaped boxes.
Yeah. But I was thinking about that. You know, it's so true how you discipline. Like, I can look at one of my children and he will literally cry. If I look at him, like, that really
Errol's like
hurt
that,
me.
too.
And
Yes.
just the head down, where the other 2 are like, oh, really? Like, you know, where, you know, well, I'm going to take this away.
Whatever.
You
Yeah,
know,
okay.
devastated. So you discipline them differently, you treat them differently, and that's okay. One size does not fit all, and it's okay to be that way.
Well, it doesn't with us.
That's right.
You
That's
know, we're all
right.
so different.
Yes.
You know?
And it's important that you find out who they are and let them be that person and nurture that side of them. You know, it's really funny when my husband partially raised his children by himself too, and he's a hunter and a fisherman. And when his son calls, that's what they talk about. And when my sons call, we talk about museum openings and recipes, and it's just so different.
Right. And that's okay.
It is okay.
That's awesome.
But it just, one day it just hit me because I was listening to them talk, and I thought, I'd never have a conversation like that. It was
so
really
true.
funny.
The other thing in children that everybody needs to understand is there's seasons. There's seasons where, you know, they're in the I stage. That's all they know. There's seasons where it's the pile stage, you know, and they'll get out of it.
Right.
So figure out what kind of relationship do you want with your children down the road, and will this add to it or take away?
Oh, that's
So,
a good thing to look
yeah,
ahead.
because, I mean, I look at my daughter's room.
That's a good idea.
and I look at my sons, and it's like, okay, Lisa, pick your battle.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, that's another one.
Pick your battles. That's true.
You know, it's just you just have to think that way.
Right.
And
You have to.
You know, my daughter, when she was little, she was quite the challenge. I would put her in timeout, and she would sit there and sing to herself. I would send her to her room. I'd send her to her room, and then I'd say, "Okay, you can come out now." And she's like, "No, I'm okay." I'm like, I did nothing.
That was
worked.
supposed to be a punishment, damn it.
Nothing worked with her. She just turned everything around, and she was fine.
She's a good one that actually lives if you change the way you
Oh
look
my
at
goodness.
things
She
you
was
look at.
such a challenge. I was like, you know what? She's murder to parent, but she's going to be an awesome adult. And I've always said that. She's going to be an awesome adult. But to parent her,
Yes.
nothing worked.
But that's
That's
looking ahead,
hilarious.
like Lee said,
Oh,
that
yeah.
looking ahead and saying, okay, is this going
Yeah.
to help it or hurt it?
Right.
I still do like a mentor, and she's just like a mom to me.
Oh, that's nice.
And so she would prepare me, Lisa. Now they're going to start getting to the stage where when you're on vacation, you're going to have to start bringing some of their friends.
right.
So it's going to happen around, 10 years old, 11, 12. Okay, got that down. Then she'd say, now there's going to be a time that they're going to start wanting to just hang with their friends. Don't get offended. They're not, it's not that they don't want to be with you. They're individuating. They're becoming adults. You have to
Let go.
empower
And
them,
which is part of your job.
which is part of
Yeah.
my job.
Exactly.
So I was prepared.
Right.
And
That's-
so
That
when
is
our
nice.
son started to hang out with friends, T, you want to bring him over? Oh, Mom, I got this. I was like, that's cool.
yeah.
But now there's another season where they always say, they always come back.
They do.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
And so it's just, if we can understand that and not get
Yes.
hurt,
Yes.
not think, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Where am I
Right.
missing it? You're not.
Yeah, you're not.
It's
No.
just a natural progression.
Yep.
You're actually doing it
growing
right
into an
when they're,
adult.
when
You
they're
know
going through
what?
this.
You were so lucky to have whoever that person is.
Nadine
You are
Walters.
very
And
lucky.
we should all, I think that
You
that
should.
is a perfect example of a diva
Yes.
Find someone
to
that you can help.
prepare.
You should always be mentoring somebody.
A diva sister.
yeah.
Yep, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I'm almost ready to start a parenting group.
There you go.
Wow, that's really
That
good.
is.
Thank you for that.
really
That
is.
was
My
really
pleasure.
good.
I just pass it on. I mean, somebody
Yeah.
poured into me,
Right.
and I take
Right.
and pour into others.
I love that. That's genius. So the next thing that I'd like to talk about, and it's a thing that I think only a parent can feel. I really do think this is unconditional love. We're going to start with you, Tammy. Let's talk about unconditional love. Is there anybody that you love unconditionally? Unconditionally.
Besides my children?
No, including your children.
My children, absolutely.
And that's the only people, isn't it? Think about it.
Probably. I'd like to say I love my husband unconditionally.
Unconditionally, but it's not true, is it?
Probably not.
No.
No.
It's weird, isn't it? Unconditional love. No matter what they do, you will love them. And yet we're
matter
supposed to love everybody unconditionally. That's what we're supposed to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How could you?
You'd have to be in a very different state of consciousness.
Do you think there's anybody that loves everybody unconditionally besides God?
Eckhart Tolle?
Eckhart Tolle, okay. So an expanded consciousness. Mother
Gandhi.
Teresa.
Yeah.
So that is
However, Mother Teresa could not love herself unconditionally.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Misty said Mother Teresa could not love herself unconditionally.
And-
How do you know that?
she asked
Because
her.
I read her book.
Oh.
You know, and she says some of her quotes are so profound and deep, but she couldn't love herself unconditionally.
Interesting.
That is very interesting,
really
isn't
is.
it? If only we could talk to her.
I know.
We need our psychic here.
That poor woman was tortured by her own thoughts.
Interesting. When we come back, we're going to continue talking a little bit about unconditional love, and then we're going to take it to how to take care of your heart and what we do personally to take care of our heart. We're also going to announce the winners of our big drawing, and I want to wish Steeda Jones a happy birthday. Love you, Stita. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Take a bathroom break, get some snacks.